I'm so soon stuff, sorry. It's a long day with Fractal. Also said everyone who's bought a Fractal. Now, these boxes are ridiculous. FM3, we've covered foot switch assignments, we've covered editing on the FM3. This is banned, by the way.
Hi.
He knows these things. And today what we're going to show you is the differences between the FM9 and the 3. Technically, it's easy. It's a mathematical difference because 9 is a higher number than 3.
Yeah, 6 more.
So, yeah. So it's 6 better, pretty much. We're going to talk quickly about the differences in hardware. And then instead of editing something on the unit, which is fully possible if you really know it, and if you're in a live situation, you bend down, you can get to everything on the unit itself. But obviously, everyone that does anything with it is doing it with the editor, which is why we have a computer here. And I think this is, it's got some dots, some coffee stains on it.
Okay. I thought you had the foil on it.
Some coffee stains and some scratches. Look, it's been used. We had this at Ibanez for the 2025 news.
Yes, sounded great.
So obviously, at first look, what we see, all this and this is the same. These are different because it's got 3 different outputs and you have direct control over the volume. Why do you have 3 different outputs? That's the really cool thing that makes this, I think, one of the premier, most professional units in the modeling world, because you can go to front of house, monitor mix on stage and in-ear, or front of house, in-ear, and a different DI signal going to a recorder where you don't have IRs on it. Different IRs, anything you want, 3 different outputs.
I can tell you how I did it on the gig.
Mm-hmm.
This was going to my in-ear, and also as a backup, you have the phone's output, which is the same as out 1. So you can plug it in directly instead of your thing here. That was in-ear. This was to front of house. And this was to a power amp with a real cabinet. And I put it out before the cab simulation, so I had a real cabinet on stage and could and everything you can adjust accordingly, like you like it.
But you'd have to program that per preset. You can't do that globally.
No, that's always globally.
No. I mean, going out to a cabinet without the cab simulation, that is a per preset thing.
That is a per preset thing. Yes.
Okay. So if you look in the back, and that's really the impressive thing. Input, of course. There's in 2 in stereo, in 3 in stereo, balanced, as we can see clearly right there. Sorry, it's a little bit wait. I can't move it now. Oh, this is in focus, so we're gonna get to the focus.
Yeah.
We've got 3 different inputs. 2 of them stereo, meaning you could put stereo pedals in it, or synthesizer, or whatever. We've got the full XLR output with a ground lift, also doubled in 1/4 inch. So these are the same as this. That already is pretty impressive. So it actually has more outputs than 3. If whatever goes to front of house would be good enough to the monitor mixer, you can go to the monitor mixer here. It's just the same signal. Output 2 with separate ground lift and also, and that doesn't have a separate set of 1/4 inches. Then output 3, 1/4 inches, you can clearly see. Phones, and then pedal 1, 2, 3 would be expression pedals or switch pedals. It's got the Fazlink for the external foot switch, SPDIF in and out, so there's actually another input in digital.
Which you can use for reamping from your audio interface in digital, so it doesn't have any conversion in it.
Can you use the USB?
Yes, you can.
As an audio interface?
Yeah.
So it works as an audio...
Oh, that what we forgot on the FM3. It's also a fully featured audio interface, and you can record direct signal and the processed signal at the same time.
And apparently it's got very good converters, as far as I know.
It has the best converters on the market.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think it does.
For a guitar.
For a guitar, yeah. So the question is...
Not better than whatever audio interface for 4,000 euros.
So the question is, what level are they on if I compare it to UAD, UA Apollo, or Apogee, or whatever? That's the question. Like, if you use this as your audio interface, would that be enough for
guitar? Yes.
For vocals? For drums?
I wouldn't use it for drums or vocals because you would have to have a separate preamp, and then it makes more sense to use an audio interface. I use it with an audio interface, but I use the digital connections.
Okay.
Actually, I have the XFX3 in my rack and use the AS EBU connections.
So, but you could use it with all the ins and outs, show the back again. You could easily use this as an audio interface. It doesn't have a mic pre, yes, it wouldn't have, but to put your monitor speakers on this, easy. Monitor speakers on this, easy. So this on the table in your studio, I mean, this clocks in at what? Is it 2200?
1,000 something.
Okay, so that could be your audio interface for your main things that you do. I think John Simons uses it primarily as an audio interface and for reamping and loading IRs into it. That's like one of his main hubs. So very impressive in that regard. So definitely in terms of the in-out, especially because of the dual stereo XLR, no other box that I know has that. XLR is, of course, standard that you have to have. That's why the Helix has that. That's why the Quad Cortex has that. But a whole separate assignable set of XLR, very impressive. Obviously, we've got, as we always said, the direct volume controls for the different ones. And obviously, we got 9 foot switches now instead of the 3. If you want to see what you can do with the foot switches, watch the FM3 foot switch assignment video that teaches you everything. And it's massively impressive what you can do with 3 foot switches. Having 9 of them, I mean, wow.
You could do 36 different functions on those foot switches.
If you wanted to be crazy. So, but...
And I had to calculate that on the computer. I'm sorry.
So the question is, that ins and outs different. Foot switch is different. It's bigger, yes. It's heavier, yes. Direct volume control on the panel. What else is different? The processing power?
It has more processing power, and it can do some stuff more, which you can easily see on the comparison chart on the G66 webpage. But I tell you the most important things, which is this one can do dual amp. So you can load 2 separate amplifiers and mix them. Or like put them in a volume control and like
morph between them.
Impressive,
okay.
You can have 2 cap sections as well. So you don't have to use the same cap for the 2 amps. You can have a separate cap for each amp.
Okay.
Then, it has more processing power. You can do more effects at once. And
how much more processing power? 30%, something like this.
And some more blocks. I think you can do 2 compressors, or some effects are more than others, which is not the deciding factor. I would do the deciding factor is more foot switches, more processing power in general. I mean, who needs 3 compressors? Right? That's like something I would never think about.
I don't even think you necessarily need 2 amps. It's neat.
Me neither. I never use 2 amps at once.
It's neat if you want to experiment with blending, whatever. But I'm going to say, look, 1 amp through most of their career has worked for most musicians, so we're good.
But since you have so many inputs, and they all can take guitar signals as well, you can actually use it for 2 guitar players.
So if the other guitar player in your band is a lazy, cheap bum who doesn't want to buy good shit, you could literally just make presets for both of you guys, or for you and the bass player.
You could also do 2 guitar players and the bass player.
It's got more inputs.
You don't use an amp simulation then, but you could just use an EQ and a compressor, which is for most bass players is enough. I mean, they just do dum-dum-dum.
Can you do 3 amps on the rack version?
No. 2 is maximum.
Okay.
But you can, you have separate IR loaders on the rack version, so you can load IRs in there, like 4 different ones, I think.
Also, this one has a click on the dial. I don't know.
Which goes to layout, which is the same as hitting that button.
So it doesn't do anything other than, it's not an input?
No, input is always enter.
Why didn't it put...
Is it? Wait. No. It's just...
Why not make that enter? That makes so much more sense.
I think you can actually, as you would guess, adjust it. I think you can tell it what it does.
Somewhere.
Which is, but it's not important. It probably would be on the global settings. And there are a lot of settings, so value not push function. There
we talk.
None or layout. Yeah, okay, no, you can't.
That needs to be enter.
But you can switch it off if it annoys you.
Let me see if I can find this. It says tuner, but what if I want to do this with a foot switch? Don't tell me. No,
Those are different layouts.
I want to get to the master layout thing.
It's not programmed here. You have to program it.
Presets and scenes, that's it. And go.
Probably on tab tempo hold, yeah.
This is another, it looks very bright, but it just looks very bright.
Yeah,
okay.
it is, because the guitar is white.
Yeah, but it's also Olympic white, no black anywhere. It's just all cream. That's another Henry's guitar from Czech Republic, locking tuners. It's a pretty impressive instrument for $699. So
we will make a sound for it very soon.
Yeah, the tuner is very precise. It's a very good tuner.
And also, if you happen to have, which probably 99.999% of you don't have, a true temperament guitar, this is the only device I know. I think there's one other. You can go here and you can program offsets for each string with cent values. You need that for true temperament tuning. You need to adjust that.
Or how about this?
You could not.
Don't buy a true temperament tuning.
I have two.
Yeah, so why?
Yeah, because I think it looks cool.
That's the only reason. Okay, so, time's running out. Let's program a clean sound with an overdrive.
Yeah, let's do that. So I have my editor here, which should be empty, but it's not. I can clear the preset. Preset cleared. And now I can use the quick edit function, which the guy who did the other video didn't know about. And I can just put in blocks here into my signal chain. So let's start with in. And let's put an out.
How did you get there?
Q.
Or
you hit quick edit.
Okay.
Quick build here.
And then you see all the different blocks.
And you see all the different, and you can just put them in there.
That's
you can also like right click here and put the blocks in. That's also possible. But then here, oh, by the way, this is the very nice software editor.
So there's a matrix. You can actually go from a block and go parallel down, bring it back in.
I will just show some stuff as we finish the preset. So the basic stuff that's here, I could put in amp, I put in cap, and you see I can put in 2 amps and 2 caps.
Yep.
Then I always put a reverb at the end, or maybe let's do it here. Here. But actually, let's not do that. Let's do that. And let's do a multi-delay right above that. Let's put a straight line. So we have a parallel routing.
So that it does automatic parallel routing if you have a, okay.
Yeah, you just have to do, let's do a
it just click and drag?
Yes, compressor here at the front. And somebody would say, what about a noise gate? Noise gate is built into input 1 automatically, just for your reference. Drive 1. So you can see you can do 3 drive blocks, 2 compressors, 3 drive blocks. On the FM9, it was 2 drive blocks and 1 compressor, I think, so, on the FM3. So that's like a little bit more. So this would be a functioning preset. I have to do some things now. I have to put multi-delay on kill dry and because reverb on kill dry. Otherwise, it will like amplify the signal 3 times.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
But without any phase issues.
Without any phase issues. It would just be louder and you would think, what the f?
And louder is better.
And also, let's switch off the compressor, the drive, and the multi-delay.
Double click?
Double click, yes. Yeah. You could also use space.
Okay.
They have a lot of shortcuts. So it's like, if you know what you're doing, it's a brrrr.
If you know what you're doing.
Yeah. And also, if you don't know what you're doing, it's everything. You can do everything with just mouse clicks. So reverb, I'm gonna use London. No, gold plate. Gold plate is my favorite reverb now. Put the mix to 13, like I always do. And now I know how I want to set my reverb. This is not my FM9, so it's not programmed, but I could now go to library and say save and say Bandy reverb. And if I put it in again, I can just go to the library
and there's, okay.
Yeah. That's the block library.
You don't have to repeat this every single time.
Yeah, and you can export and import blocked libraries. So for example, you can go to the nice videos of Leon Todd Leon Todd on YouTube. He's a nice channel. And he gives you his block library where every setting you would ever want for 80s rock and metal is. You can just like choose the nice settings he does in his videos. Okay, so you could do that for every block. Like even for out blocks or for in blocks when you want to configure a gate or something like this. So, but now let's choose the amp. You just go here and you want to have a nice clean sound. Let's do something very easy. Let's use the deluxe normal. So now we want to level that the right way. We have a little helper here. We have the leveler, preset leveler. Now please hit it hard with the barcode. Nice. No leveling needed. It's perfect. So here, you have the controls the real amp would have, which only has gain, bass, and treble.
Landon Bailey, go away. He always does that in videos.
If you have a guitar that's a little hotter, you can adjust the input trim, which is not on a real amp. So you could adjust that. Here you have the level of the amp block, which you also have when you have the leveling tool, which you can use the amp level here. So you can like level presets pretty quickly on 2 outputs actually. And that's actually all you need in the amp. People say, it's so complicated. You can set in power tube voltage and stuff, but just don't use those. You don't have to. You can adjust everything. You can do a speaker impedance curve. Do you know what that is? If you don't know what that is, leave it alone.
Yep.
Just leave it. No. Okay, but we have a weird speaker. So we have to change it to Dynacap. And we change it to Deluxe. It should be somewhere there. Vibrato Lux. And I would like to use a ribbon on that, which is in the middle. How do you like that?
I need more brightness.
Okay, then we use a different microphone.
That's better, yeah.
Yeah. But I want to do Deluxe Verb. Switch that on. Have the ribbon here. Mixed on and a little slower, and now you have a nice sound. So we could also do a low cut and a high cut if we like to.
Why? Sounds good.
Most of the time for live purposes, I do a high cut at 6 to 7 kilohertz.
A high cut
because it sounds much better over of FRFR. If you use FRFR, the trick to make it sound better is do high cuts all the time, because then you don't get this harsh shit. That was 20 minutes, no? No, that was not 20.
It was 20
Eric,
minutes.
was that 20 minutes?
That was 20 minutes.
You have 3 minutes left.
Okay. But now we have a nice sound. Let's do a very obvious clone before it. Play.
Okay.
Oops, sorry. I hit the wrong button. Nice. Sounds kind of Andy Timmons-ish, what you just played.
I don't know.
I just say that because people seem very much to like this delay sound of his, which is called the Halo.
Yep.
And if we go to the multi-tap delay and we put on the preset, which is called Aurora delay, and then play this, please.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Like it.
Do you know how long you have to fiddle in other devices until you have that sound?
You need a multi-tap, that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but you have to set it the right way. And this is like set up by default. You have these presets and they all sound great. Let's do some more nice shit. Let's use a compressor. I don't know if you know the Airchild. Do you know the Airchild compressor by J-Rocket? Just came out. It's a Fairchild compressor floor thingy. You can put in Studio FB compressor and you have that sound. Let's do the drive away. And Now it's and the last thing, let's put in a really nice chorus.
And now you wrecked it. Now you made it 80s. Neat. I would have not had the chorus.
Okay, just put the chorus out. And so now you have this one preset, but you can't decide which drive you want to use because the clone is nice, but you want to have in the same preset, you want to have like maybe a sunrise thingy from JHS, and you want to have a tube screamer. So you could, of course, just put in 3 more pedals and switch them on and off. But you could also just use the channels mode, which you can put 4 different sounds on one block. So now we have A, which is the clone. Now we go to B, and let's go to the Sunrise Splendor high cut. And play that, please. Very nice. You would maybe say it's a little bassy.
Yeah, it is.
And you can, other than on the real pedal, you have a graphic EQ here, and you can just like put the bass down. And now I want to have another one. I want to have a simple tube screamer, not modded, just standard tube screamer with the drive a little up and the tone down.
I mean, they are all the same pedals, by the way.
Really? Sunrise Splendor is a blues breaker.
Yeah.
And the clone is not a tube screamer.
Yeah, they're all the same fucking pedal.
Not really.
Yes, they are. You play exactly the same fucking shit with all of them. I'm sorry, guys. I get pissed off about this stuff. It's all the same. They are low gain, mid gain overdrives. The stuff you play with them, the musical part you play with them, is literally the same function.
Okay, I give you one that's not the same.
They're not fuzzes. They're not distortions. They're not. They all are the tiniest variation of each, but musically, you play the same shit.
Play this.
It's different.
That's a Sewer Riot.
Yeah? That's clearly a different pedal. But a blues breaker, a clone, or a tube screamer don't make you different musicians. They don't make you play different parts. You use them in the same musical context. They're just tiniest variations in this direction or this direction. Neither of them is going to make you John Mayer or anything.
That may be the case, yes.
To me, that all sounded exactly the same, says the guy who's been doing pedal videos for like 14 years.
20 minutes are over.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you create a preset. And that was a simple explanation of the channels.
And you can do that for any block.
You can do that for any block. You can do it for the amp block as well. And there are some blocks that have 6 different channels.
Okay.
But that's special stuff we don't do today. So
for an overdrive, that already makes a lot of sense. However, it's easy to do that with the channels, but with the processing power in here, you could have done different blocks and switched between the blocks.
yes, you could have. And one thing I want to quickly touch on scenes. Yeah, just quickly touch on scenes. So if you could just like program everything here, so you can switch off the comp, you can switch off the drive with the foot switches, right? You have enough foot switches. But if you don't want step dance, you can just say within this preset, you can save the states of the effects on and off.
And the settings.
And the settings, the channels. So you can save the channels and you can save the...
Not the knob settings on each block?
No.
So which blocks are on, and if you wanted different settings for the tube screamer, you'd have to make a different channel.
Yes.
And change the settings.
Yes.
And that gives you pretty much one preset with different scenes, usually pretty much enough for a gig if you play rock and roll.
Yes. Totally. I used on my concert, I used one preset with 7 scenes.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and it's totally enough.
It's a massively impressive piece of kit that's gonna take you some time to get into it. There are, of course, videos from bands that you can buy, or in English from Kata Cooper.
Kata.
A million videos on there. There's forums. There's people you can call from the actual brand that will help you.
Telephone hotline.
Yeah.
Technical telephone hotline.
It's not put it on the table and you're the master. It's put it on the table and play and have fun, for sure. It might be put it on the table, go to a gig with it because scene number 1 is you're happy with it. Or you find a preset that by itself with the scenes works. They exist for sure.
Yes.
If you want to
need 1 hour, maybe, if you real pressed to time, you just received the device because your quad cortex smoked up. And then you put it on, maybe 1 hour checking out presets. If you get it for 1 hour, don't try to program anything yourself. Please check out the presets, take the one you like the most, use the scenes, and you're done for a gig.
If you want to start doing your own stuff, programming, assigning foot switch functions, changing it to your liking, that's a rabbit hole that's up to you to go down. You don't have to, like with all these devices. You could start slow and simple and use what's in there, and there's a lot in there, or go down a rabbit hole, or get yourself your own band. That's what I got. I got myself a band, and that helps.
What also helps with stuff like this, I mean, this is not the only device that can do a lot of stuff, right? It helps a lot to restrict yourself and say, okay, I have time for guitar 3 hours today, and I will do 20 minutes fiddling with the device, and then I will practice. Do that, please.
Please
don't
practice.
do 3 hours fiddling with the device.
Too many people go down in tweaking the tube voltages virtually.
Yeah, you can actually.
But they forget, don't show that. No, we don't care. We don't care. But they stop playing guitar.
Yeah.
And it kind of really defeats the purpose.
Don't go in the amp, don't go...
We're not showing that. You're not even on the screen. We're not showing it. It's not there.
Right?
Eric isn't pushing the button. Eric pushed the button.
Don't go there. Or there.
We're done
or
here.
there.
Next video is on something else with Fractal. Watch that. Animals at the end.